Hi there folks, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another inbox video review vid. And today Wingnut Wings is back, and we have a very serious one today. It's Hermann Goring's Fokker D7F. Just look at him. He's a surly looking brute, isn't he? And this is long before he became a Nazi, of course. He isn't someone that you want to meet on a dark night, is he? Goodness me. Yes, and that's before he became head of the Luftwaffe and spent the entire summer of 1940 wasting his great Air Force in an attempt to crush the Royal Air Force in the Battle of Britain, but that's a story for another day. Here we're in the First World War, and you can see in the Wingnut Wings kit, if I just zoom you in again, it also comes with the figure of Goring himself, and yeah, as I say, quite an imposing figure. Anyway, what have we got? We've got all about the aircraft. Now this is an interesting plane because it's perhaps not the most glamorous of aircraft, you know. There's a few like this in the First World War. Oops, what am I doing here? A few like this in the First World War where these planes were often workhorses, you know, and they were being developed very rapidly in terms of technology. So different designs would come out frequently, but this one, it was really a, how can I put it, it was strong, rugged, it was fairly fast. It wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the most manoeuvrable, but it was rugged, tough, brutal aircraft, and it shot down a lot of Allied planes, you know, in the Royal Flying Corps, etc. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the model. We'll put our rather grim-looking friend aside and see what we got inside. Now then, this actually this is another model I've got that was a gift from my one of my relations, close relation, and it's got turnbuckles. Oh, this is going to need I'll need new glasses for this. Okay, so these are these little tiny turnbuckles that you have for the rigging, and I doubt you'll see them. I'll try and zoom the camera in so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's definitely worthy of some comment. This is from Bob's Buckles, and these apparently are the recommended item to go for if you're doing rigging and turnbuckles. These are the ones you need to get. And we've reached the limit, I think, of the zoom. I don't know if you can make them out, but they are just tiny little things. So basically you put these around your rigging, and these are what actually on the real aircraft help to tension the rigging and align it between the top and bottom wing surfaces. So it's basically nickel tube and eyelets, essentially. I'm definitely going to need to have my magnifiers on when I come to build this, I can tell you. Anyway, nice addition. In the box then. Oh, first let me just talk about this. I also got this rather interesting book, which again I think people who buy this kit should certainly consider. It is the Legends of Aviation in 3D, Fokker D7, the lethal weapon. As I was just saying about it being a very rugged, lethal combat aircraft. And this has got like these beautiful 3D illustrations. And this really helps, especially with a detailed model like the Wings in 132. You really get a feel for how it should look internally. So there's like exploded views of the actual construction, showing the rigging, showing the framework, the wood. Yeah, you can see actually they were quite an intricate thing to build. All the spars, you know, there's dozens and dozens of spars, and there's a bit of history about the aircraft there. And it also, of course, talks later, goes into details about things like the guns. Again, some astonishing details. I mean, I love the artwork, the way they've done it. Everything looks like it's a photo, and I think it's basically it's taken from 3D renderings and drawings, and they create this kind of 3D image. Look at the detail here. So you can see the pilot's seat and the machine guns, the belt feeds. It's just all there. Engine detail. Oh, oil pump casings, you know. Amazing book, really, absolutely invaluable. Must look out for more editions of this, because I'm sure there are other ones, especially for the Wingnut Wings popular aircraft. I think there's several in the series. There's another one called Fokker DVII, the Aces aircraft, which of course is the Fokker triplane. Anyway, back to the model. That's what you came here to look at. So, now I have to be honest with you, I'm always reluctant with Wingnut Wings, especially at the moment when there's this question mark about the future. I'm very reluctant to open the bag, so I just apologise in advance. I'm not going to open the bag, but I'll try and give you the best possible view I can. Maybe just kill a little bit of the lighting, because that might help. Okay. What have we got here? We have got... I'm not sure what we have got here. It's my problem again of my lack of familiarity with these aircraft. I don't automatically recognise what the parts are, but they appear to be part of the bodywork around the front and the rear fuselage on that one. Second sprue here we've got the engine, the motor. It was a Daimler engine? I'm trying to show my lack of knowledge here. Yes, it was a Daimler Mercedes engine, I thought it was. And it had 230... Well, they say 180 to 200 horsepower. The British thought it was 230 when we rated it, so... a very powerful engine. I mean, that's twice as powerful as the engine that's in the Sopwith Camel, for example. So it's a mighty engine. So, if it's not the most aerodynamic looking of aircraft, it doesn't matter. It's got a honking great, 12-cylinder engine in there. I've just seen on the side it goes into a little bit more detail. It says BMW also supplied a limited number of them apparently, as well as Mercedes, Daimler. Interesting. Wow, quite a meaty engine then. So you can understand why it had a lot of performance. Anyway, we have here, if we can just zoom in a little bit, we've got here the propeller. See that? Nicely moulded. Got a nice boss at the front of it. See all the top of the camshafts for the engine. There's a second propeller option. There's one that's like a rounded and one that's more of a blade style. The blade style one is there. Various bits of curving, very nice. Again, beautiful moulding, no flash, no nothing, no problems at all. And then we've got all sorts of pieces here, various bits of the cockpit. We've got a seat, which, again, like a lot of these World War I planes, I've noticed that the seat often looks like it belongs in a pub or a gentleman's drawing room or something, in a gentleman's club, leather button festoon seats. Yeah, they look fairly comfy actually, if I'm honest. In fairness, we've got look at this, extras. We have got the gas patch, elite accessories, Spandau, extended loading handle, Fokker machine guns. They look absolutely amazing. That's rather kicking, isn't it? All beautiful resin. That's something else. That is definitely going to be so nice to paint. They look really good. Then we've got the wheels, two sprues that are the same, wheels and undercarriage, and you can actually see there the Spandau machine guns. It comes in the kit here. You compare that with the resin option detail versions. Sorry, let's just zoom you out a tad. And you compare them side by side, and I think you should even on the camera be able to see that there's not really any comparison in quality there. I mean, these gas patch are just specifically made resin, beautifully, carefully moulded. So they'll be fantastic. And then we have, we've got the man himself. Has to be said, he's looking a lot slimmer here than he does during the Battle of Britain and beyond. It's quite a slim, fetching sort of athletic looking chap. He's definitely got this so well moulded. The face just looks like Goring. I don't know if that'll pick up on the camera in the font or not. Really, really looks like him though. Can we get that? Yes. Can you see that face? It does look like him. Yeah. He's about 8 stone, 9 stone lighter in this form than he is later in life, at least. He's quite a fan of the pies and what have you, Mr. Goring. Of course, Goring was held at the Nuremberg trials after the Second World War, and he never actually was brought to justice. He committed suicide with a cyanide pill. But anyway, here we go. We've got the sprue here with the main. Here we've got the framework and the main fuselage sides and some of the support structure. Beautiful moulding. Really, really good. Wingnut wings seem to get these fine little pieces that it seems effortless for them. They do it so well. And then we have the wings. Yeah, again, we've got all the texture in there, beautifully moulded. There's actually a little piece of flash that's just loose wandering around off the mould. But there's no flash on the actual pieces at all. No, nothing like that. And then finally we've got the tail planes. Sorry, it's the the lower wing, and the tail plane here. Very, very nicely done. Again, flawless, you know. So let's have a look at the old instructions. Yeah, nice Wingnut wings, decals. I'm sure there'll be no problem at all. Now then, Hermann Goring, what do we got? Here we go. It shows as normal, it shows a schematic. So there's a lot of versions of this, I think, that Wingnut wings brought out. As you can see straight away, several of them are blued out because they're not going to be used. There's quite a lot of components there, which explains why there's so many components that I didn't really recognise. And then we've got, shows the instructions, shows the figure, shows the captured one actually. American, excuse me, American 85th Aero Squadron seated in the cockpit of a captured Fokker D7. There you go. Here's the pub seat I talked about. Looks very comfy. And there's this ammo feed chutes. There's two types of gun mounts. There's a standard one. There's a low gun mount and a standard gun mount. So you can have them lower or higher. And then all the framework and lattice work that is around the cockpit itself. And we have the bulkhead being built up there, positioning of the seat. Picture of Goring here, Hermann Goring's earliest Fokker D7. And we've got some beautiful photographs of the actual aircraft. And then going into this beautiful 3D images of how it should all look as you assemble it. Internal rigging. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Internal rigging. Oh my god, it's not good enough that you have external rigging, you've got internal rigging on this one as well. Anyway, we like a challenge, don't we? Really nice photo. And then showing the engine, how it's all made up. Beautiful, beautiful representation, really. Absolutely amazing. And then how the engine goes up to the bulkhead for the main fuselage area. And how it all has the main monocoque of the main sort of rear fuselage put around it. I've got to be honest, this doesn't look like a quick build, I can tell you. I think you're going to need to set aside many, many months. And then it's showing these different positionings of the machine guns and the empty shell case deflectors. Empty belt chutes and shell case deflector chutes. Interestingly, with the standard offering in the kit, there is some photo etch to try and bring it up to the level, but I think the gas patch one's going to be much nicer. So why would you bother when you've got those in resin? It's a no-brainer. And then you've got the exhaust system. And then basically how the wings are assembled, going together with the undercarriage fitted underneath on the struts, tailplane assembly, and fairly classic looking Fokker design that they have. It's almost like a rose petal design, isn't it? And then the main struts between the lower and upper wing. Flash guards, that's the machine gun flash guards so that they don't ignite any fuel on the engine, etc. Final wing assembly, and then the rigging. the rigging. Nightmares about this, I can tell. And then finally, the man himself, Hermann Goring. Yes, you can sort of see even in this representation that's in the resin how he has the potential to be a very, very obese man. I mean, I'm not that slim myself, but blimey, he was massive. Yeah, some good photos of him, it has to be said. Excellent photos. And then with his famous walking cane. And then we have the sort of markings, painting and marking guide. And then that back end there's some pictures of this rather plain one that's just in the white. So I think that this particular variant is. And a picture of the man in front of his steed. And then there's a picture of one that's been ransacked by American souvenir hunters and after bodywork stripped off. And then credits to all the wonderful Wingnut Wings engineers that helped to make the model. Wow, well, that's pretty impressive. What can we say? Another Wingnut Wings masterpiece, isn't it? My only worry when I look at these, especially a really classic one like this one, you've got something that's probably quite, I suspect these are quite rare now, you know, Hermann Goring, Richthofen, you know, people like that, the famous aces. You're not going to be able to get them for love nor money. It just makes me nervous about building it and maybe not doing it well enough. You've got to be on your A game when you build this. But anyway, fantastic model, absolutely brilliant, and another piece of miniature history that probably be a pleasure to build as long as you take your time and you just immerse yourself in it, you know, use the reference books. But speaking of books, although we already talked about the reference book, I also got given this amazing book about Goring himself, with of course some of these photos we've just seen and more. Yeah, right, that'd be good. There we go. Hermann Goring Fighter Ace. And in it we have got some quite impressive references, a lot of history. Got a picture of him here in his cadet uniform when he was about, I don't know, 13 or 14, I think. He wasn't a very jolly person, was he? He never looks jolly. And it goes through how he sort of went into the training corps, and then the German, it wasn't, I think it was called the Luftwaffe then, it was just the German Air Force, I think they called it, and then how he progresses through Oswald Brülker. He was mentioned, wasn't he? He was mentioned by von Richthofen. I think this is the guy that von Richthofen was very impressed by. Colleague of his, obviously, but he also said that Lano Hawker was a bit like him. here we've got, oh yeah, there's a, talking of Land Rover Hawker, there's a captured FE2B, which is the two-seater version of the aircraft that Hawker flew. Captured by the Germans in this case. Shot, oh yeah, apparently Goring claimed to shoot that one down. Yeah, he claimed a lot of things, didn't he? And then it's talking about his career in combat, and here's another shot of him. Looking slightly more cheery, if that's the right word. And then of course he gets into Flanders, and he was actually a very successful pilot, fighter race, you know. Rising to the top, here we go. He was a much more successful fighter race than he was as a commander or a strategist. At that he was absolutely useless, as we know later obviously, but it's interesting, isn't it, to see, you know, someone who rose through the ranks. And there's all sorts of references at the back with some of the maps of the air bases and things. It's a wonderful book. Keep meaning with all this extra time we have now to sit down and read this. I've got 4 or 5 great books I need to read. That is one of them. But yeah, Hermann the German. Quite a flamboyant and interesting character. Before he became a Nazi, of course. We won't get into that, obviously. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you found it interesting to see all these different references as well, which are always helpful when you're building a model, especially something of that premium quality. I think it's quite important to have as much knowledge as you can get to try and just, we don't want to get too bogged down in detail and perceived detail, but just trying to get it as realistic as we can. And it adds to the fun of the sort of learning journey as you go through the model build. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the vid, hope you enjoyed the show. There'll be more coming along soon with some other, perhaps other kits. We might be doing a tank soon, and we've got this Porsche Le Mans tribute to talk about, and all coming very soon. So in the meantime, hope you stay safe, look after yourselves. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.